All right, we're going to use our phones again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 675 of eating a sheet of paper a day. Switch count. Should make absolute sure we're doing this right, which probably are. It's fine. Wow, I just got a CCATV YouTube notification. That's unusual. I haven't gotten one of those in a long time, or maybe I've gotten them. I've never cared about them. Every single time I see one of them, I just probably just black it all out. Okay. There it is. Sweet. Copy the link. There we go. Do that. Fuck. God damn it. I'm really thirsty anyway, so I'm gonna lose all my fluids anyways before this thing even starts. Let's see. There we go. That's a good promo. Day 675, I think. There we go. This. Do that. Let's see. Let me just assess. Is there any collateral to me posting this one? Anybody who doesn't know that this is an alt account, who it would be a problem if I did. I think we're okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, there we go. Post that. Great. Incriminating but funny. Ha ha ha. Idre, what's up? How are you doing? Me, I am feeling very conflicted. Let's bring the paper image up. How's Brian feeling? Fucking solid. Shit. 6.1 out of 10. Why such a low score, Brian? Well, I'm conflicted, all right? Now, people say that after a gig happens, it's not healthy to opine unnecessarily. It's possible Caden might play this back. So if he does, I'll say this right now. People told us it sounded good. I think that maybe some parts sounded good. I'm going to confess to you that I came into this gig that you arranged with unrealistic expectations, you know? I saw it as an opportunity to wow a bunch of high schoolers. However, at the start, when this gig was first offered to me, I had like a literal brain buffer of 3 days, where for the first like big stretch of it, I didn't care, and I was just like, okay, we'll just get this gig over with. That's how I thought, you know? And then when for some reason when payment was offered, that's when things got really interesting, because then, hey Randy, what's up? This is very relevant to you actually. That's great. But yeah, like when my brain buffer ended and 3 days later, I basically got really unusually invested in making this gig good. I switched up a bunch of things with who I was bringing on. It became very complicated. I chose some people for the gig, and in some ways it benefited, in other ways it had drawbacks. And a lot of it was my doing too, so a lot of it was my decision. So, you know, I don't think it's as bad, Randy, as you think it is, but I'm still very conflicted because I was legitimately very invested in this gig. I was like, dude, this is a fucking opportunity to blow the socks off of a bunch of innocent parents and high schoolers. Now, what Caden never told me was that it's basically a background gig. He never told me that. As far as I was concerned, it was a foreground thing. I had no idea what the school event was. For all I knew, the school event was only based off musical exhibition. So when we came in and we didn't really adjust the set list even when we noticed, I was kind of just dead set on my plan. That's how complacent I was in that moment. I was just like, okay, whatever. We're just going to go hard anyways. And we did. We had the interest of a good number of the students. They were there watching us. But, you know, we actually really, you know, cumulatively lost the interest of people. And they were just like, okay, there's been like 7 fast songs in a row. It's getting very noisy. People need noise or protecting headphones, if you notice that part. So, you know, I think nothing stings more than losing the interest of an audience, especially in an audience that you like are hyping up as a priority audience. Like, hey, not just a you're sipping coffee in the background type audience, like an actual audience. So I was trying to change things. I'm like, okay, maybe we're not going to desensitize them to fast shit, so we're going to do some of the more wacky ideas, ideas that, and of course those ideas were stupid because I came up with those ideas during the phase when I didn't care about the gig, and I'm just like, yeah, we're just going to literally just throw bullshit at the wall, and I'm going to make a point to Caden that it's going to be retarded. I didn't notice the noise, but no, it happened with like 2 different students. Although it's Che Cafe, so maybe they were just special ed kids who I didn't notice at first, and then confirmation bias set in. But yeah, I just noticed some talk of like, hey, we're gonna be courteous to the guys we hired because they're putting all the effort into making the music. But like, yeah, we're gonna, oh, you're doing so good, son. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's getting fucking loud up in here. I don't know why they're so angry. Why are they so angry? So that's my pessimist mind looking at this. Optimistically, I'm gonna say right now that like maybe fucking like, I mean, people came up to me after the show, children who I'd never interacted with before, who through my eyes have no motive to tell me that it actually sounded good. They went up to me and they're like, oh, it was great. Now, there have been gigs, especially recent ones at Baba Coffee, but even like the Jazz Inc. gigs, like with the terrible music, where we'd play and there'd be these slews of people, like parents, oh my God, I can't believe you're so young and so talented, this and that. We definitely did not get that reaction tonight. We did get a form of a type of reaction similar to that, where you had people kind of casually coming up, and I would hear statements like, oh, the whole band was pretty good, every single member, there would be less focus on individual talent of all the members and just the whole amalgam of it. The fact that it was even arranged is such a Christmas miracle. I'm like, okay. But again, that's me being a pessimist. I do think that like they came up to me for a reason, and they're the really only indicator. I think parts of the show sounded good. I think there was a disconnect between what I wanted and what I got. It's like I could have gotten tons of other players, of a matching caliber and, appropriate thing, and then prepared an actual set list. And I think my general principle from now on, it's like I wanted for it to be like an adorable bad, where it's like we'd commit to making it like a chaotic nightmare, but it was just like a medium tempo nightmare. It wasn't even like an entertaining nightmare. It's like we would have things devolve into these passages, and I'd be quite literally like yelling things, but like it was too loud, and people, that was a big thing actually. People could like not hear me. I was like trying to communicate because we're like, E-Man's playing the same 3 notes on the fucking piano, or like we're all playing just this song that's going nowhere. And I'm like, okay, we should progress to another song at some point. But I'm like yelling this and nobody hears me, and you guys are not interested in listening. You guys are just elsewhere. So I'm just like, okay, what the hell do I even, am I stuck in this endless time vortex of a jazz song? God damn it. So that was probably the most frustrating part. It's like I wanted a full solo, and it's like I said it multiple times, but nobody heard me, and we were just, okay, I'll just trade 8s or whatever, which is like just a diminished solo that gives E-Man an excuse to just play more, I guess, which I can appreciate. I get that, like whatever, but it's just frustrating because, like, I wanted at least one, I wanted a couple things and I didn't get them, but, like, that's my hubris talking. So, yeah, no, but also, Randy, it's like, I will say, like, you and Yuval and Dom, like, definitely the 3 of you definitely, like, when it came to listening and communicating, there are, like, some things where it's like, I know it's a weird gig, and I know there's weird demands that I'm asking musically of all of you, but, I mean, then it all circles back to, like, this core of just, like, communicating and listening to each other. It's like, we're not so unconventional and wacky that we aren't musically communicating with each other, but, I mean, that's what we were doing. We weren't musically communicating. We were literally just in our own worlds, because I think that there's this thing that happens with us whenever something, we have this presupposed idea, like, this is shit, and this was going to be shit from the start, that we literally just treat the gig like a chore, and then we just space out, and we just go in our own world and just play notes. Just like, okay, this is going to end at some point. But, like, that becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it? That just makes the gig more shit. So it's like we can save it, and it can be adorably bad if we could listen to each other and then have the synergy of, like, oh, we're going to all come down here, we're going to go up here, or we're going to break here. We look at each other. We actually pay attention. But nobody was doing any of that, and it's like, I don't think that a lot of people don't realize in those types of moments that could make the difference between a like disorganized gig that becomes a success and a disorganized gig that becomes a big fat fucking failure. So I will argue that I do think that we had the potential to do it, and like I was legitimately trying my best. I'm sure I made mistakes. I definitely made like big mistakes in planning this thing. I would definitely be make different personnel changes on all fronts. By the way, like I'm telling you, like literally every person who I chose, I'm like thinking like there are definitely different decisions I could have made. But I'm trying to be a people pleaser. I'm trying to please the people I hire, and I'm trying to please the people who are hiring me. So Randy, you are a fan favorite. Caden considers you a very big part of the Brienne lore, especially because on the paper streams I would talk about you because I would talk about you a lot, especially because the Jazz Inc. stuff and you are a relevant figure. So, you know. Although, yeah, I mean, it's not like the Che Cafe standards high. I'm sure they deal with stuff like that all the time. But, yeah, my position on it is I don't think that it's as bad as I think it is. Because I've been proven, like, time and time again, that, like, I think something I did was bad, and then those same people who I didn't see since, they come back to me like, oh, yeah, you're that crazy guy who rips it up and this and that. Or our band does in what my opinion is badly, and then people come back to me like, oh, yeah, this band did super well when I don't think they did, so I don't know. But even though I must admit, it's like I'm in a really weird situation, really, really weird, where on one hand, I have to go like, okay, I do care about what these people think. Caden at first, it kind of annoyed me. So, but, and he kind of showed his appreciation for me in a way that was really strange and bad. So I basically was just like, okay, I'm just going to ignore that. But now he's gotten a lot more mellow and a lot more genuine with his appreciation. So he actually kind of gives me appreciation that I want to reciprocate now. And I think the greatest way to do that is to actually put on a good show. And I don't think I realized that until it was far too late. Far too late to actually plan a proper show. With that said, though, we could have still done a proper show without proper planning, as long as we just were really in the proper zone, which none of us were. Like, none of us. So I think a lot of things total up and compounded in on itself. A lot of small things all at the same time to create a show that probably is, again, not as bad as I think it is. So it's like, even with some pretty crummy luck and pretty bad decision making on my part, we still pulled it together. I think we still made decisions where it's like, yeah, there are worse ways to go about it. That's my position on the gig. I think that we had some people, by the balls. I think there were some moments. I feel like the people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Oh, you were so great." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Yeah, no, the show was really disorganized." No, we weren't talking about the show. We were talking about your banana speech. I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I put effort into the show, not the banana TED Talk, but like, thanks." It's like I think the fact that like people because I mean what I was really hyping myself up for was the fact that the Jazz would be good. Too little, too late, I guess. But another thing is that like I'm not gonna get a chance to probably play in Caden's presence again for a while, and I mean I feel like that was kind of our one chance to prove ourselves, and we like 50% squandered it to the point where I'm sure Caden doesn't really know how to feel. But I know for a fact that he very likely talked us up before he came, and he was probably very excited about all that happening. And then we came in really loud, same song over and over again, basically. And then we come in, some really wacky ass ideas that get dragged out for way too long. And then, amidst some of that, some glistening moments where people, enjoy themselves and things just work out. Maybe more of those than what I think currently right now. So I don't know. It's interesting thinking about stuff like this. However, I hate thinking about stuff like this. I just kind of want to do my thing and not worry about it. So, and on top of all that, I'm still very sick, and I'm legit gonna call out from work tomorrow and the next day because It's gonna be like what, 7 hours each of like physical labor. Oh, God. But yeah. I think. Oh yeah, the thing I didn't finish is that I think that it shouldn't really matter how satisfied or dissatisfied other people were. I personally was dissatisfied, and nothing wrong with that. I probably want for things to be better through my view, you know? Even though my attention towards this and my dissatisfaction personally is connected, I believe, with other people's potential dissatisfaction. However, I want to make the extremely hypocritical and ironic statement that despite other people's potential dissatisfaction, I think what matters most is my dissatisfaction, even though it can be caused by external dissatisfaction. That's weird. I don't know how I should think about that, but I don't know. If Caden plays this back, which I don't know if he will, it'll be a very interesting playback. It'll be great. I'm gossiping about him right now. So, With that said, though, thank you all for coming to the gig. Thank you all for watching, arranging, and playing at the gig. And to be optimistic, my standard has been set pretty high, I think. A lot higher than before, like 2 years ago. My standards, what I thought was high standards, was like probably 1/10 of what my standards are right now. And I set my standards unusually high for this gig. So I feel like I was doomed to be dissatisfied anyways. So a lot of this is really just me copping myself out. You know, I think that a lot of this is it's a mind trick. So I do think that the demographic of high school students is not the prime demographic for those types of reactions I'm looking for and the types of reactions I'm used to after gigs, where these like old ladies who spent the entire time just peacefully drinking coffee in the back, who probably came there to listen to jazz, go up to me and like, oh my God. You know, that's a particular type of person. And specifically high school students are like the main demographic of people that you can't really expect those types of reactions from. And I still got approached by some people and they appreciated, yes, the banana speech, but also like the music. So I think the thesis of this is just like, Brian, chill the fuck out. Agreed. I'm just so annoyed. I'm just so annoyed that there were so many things that went wrong that didn't need to go wrong. So it's like, am I allowed to be upset about that? Yeah, I better be allowed to. With that said, Randy, you're still being a negative Nancy. I think you should probably chill out with all that. All right, thesis. I got a pretty short and very what's the word? Short and not poetic. Short and short and profound. There we go. That's the word. I have a very short and profound thesis for you right here. That's not how you spelled down. Spelled it with an A. All right. That is my thesis for the day. Thank you very much for watching Eating a Sheet of Paper a Day. Day 675. I will see you all tomorrow. That'll be day 676. Make sure to live, laugh, cry, and also not die. And until next time, this is goodbye. Wait for the delay to finish, which should be about 15 seconds. Stop streaming. 3, 2, 1.